to look at Ninth Street.
Sorry, guys, I forgot to hit record. Go ahead.
No problem. We had put out an RFP for an engineering firm to come in and confirm what we needed to do at Ninth Street and the best design and whatever. And Bayland actually was a little bit higher, but they had a really good proposal. And then, they had just finished the flood study and everything else. So the mayor, we decided to work with them to give them a shot. The company that did Fifth Street, which, was okay, but wasn't really 100% great on the Fifth Street one. They did what we needed, and it was they came in the middle of the project. But we went with Bayland, so we signed a contract with them. And I sent Megan an email last week to set up a meeting with them and the town to kind of kick off the Ninth Street project.
And what is it that they're going to be doing?
Yes, we're designing, like taking the criteria from the study and looking at the existing station and then telling us what we need to put there. And what we're thinking is the same mirror thing at Fifth Street. So with our help and our input and the flood committee's input, kind of put it on paper and have a complete set of drawings ready to go out to bid for Ninth Street upgrade. So instead of having a half set or whatever, they're going to come down, review the data, review the area, how many gallons a minute, look at that type thing, look at the existing pump station, look what we have now, look at we will give them input on like what pumps the manufacturer. So if we have an issue like the pumps we have on the beach now, it'd be the same manufacturer, same parts, same familiarity with the control panel, with the pumps and everything else. But to see if that setup would work at Ninth Street, kind of get their expert opinion and come up with a set of drawings and plans and specs to put out to bid.
Is there a time frame?
4 months.
Sorry, Jay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they said they'd be done, have a set of plans ready to send out the bid in 4 months from the date. The person who Megan is working with on the project was on vacation, and I sent her another email yesterday. So I'm hoping to do that meeting like next week or two. Like a notice to receive kickoff type meeting. So that should be in the works, like I was saying, as we got 1 or 2 meetings in there. I'm gonna meet with them first and whatever and go over it. But then the next meeting, I'll let y'all know, and we'll have them come down again and kind of or the next flood committee meeting, we'll have a concept update to see what they're thinking. But I'm picturing it being pretty similar to what we did at Fifth Street. Like 2 new pumps, upgrade. They're 5 horsepower now. We're looking at them to see what size they think we need to handle rains like we had last night, or the biggest pump we can put for the price kind of thing. And with a discharge that comes up and goes over the wall, kind of like Fifth Street did, so we can see what's actually pumping out there and not have to fight. Yesterday, the tide was up, and I noticed when the tide's up, and y'all know too from living there, that affects how fast that water goes out from Ninth Street. So it's more flooding on Ninth. But we did have, I think we had a 3/4 of an inch of rain in 15-20 minutes, Dave, you think?
Yeah, well, 25, 30 minutes on, just to be approximate, but Jay was said that, during the whole event, he had what, Jay, an inch and a half, inch and 0.6 or something?
Yeah, we
1.6.
We got 1.7 at the shop here. So, and the speed that it came down, that always is a problem. But they're gonna look, confirm everything that they can be from their compound flood plan about, they've already got that information. We just gotta plug it in. Like the area, how much water they think, 1 inch rain will be, and then the pumps and what size, and we're giving the control panel specs, and they'll put it all together, and we'll have a set of plans ready to go out to bid.
Well, no one knows the place better than they do.
That's what we were thinking when we made that decision, because they just finished that, everything's fresh in their mind. You don't have to bring an engineer in and waste time with going over that part of it. Size wise for the pumps, I think they'd be the best to be able to do that. And they were really good to work with on the compound flood plan. So we'll, they have an engineering staff, everything in-house. So they should be able to handle it pretty easy, I would think. not, easy, but do a good job, because I think they did a pretty good job with the compound flood plan, so. I'm hoping next week, like say, have a kickoff meeting, and then in 4 months, have a set of plans that Stacy can put on the website to start getting bids to do the project.
Is the money in the budget already, Donnie, for?
Yeah, we do have
whatever.
money in the budget already, yep.
For the plan, and for the eventual installation of something
Yeah,
similar?
we had 20,000 that the state highway gave us for the road raising, which will almost cover the engineering, so. We had 20 in there left over, not left over, but put in there from 261 road raising project. So, and then we had money, Tom might remember, I don't remember off the top of my head exact amount, but that there is a lot simpler than the 7th Street, but we do have money for the upgrade in there too.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So after last night, I think that's the next place that's needed.
Absolutely. Before we move off, just a kind of tangential question. I was thinking last night, what the heck would have happened if we lost power for an extended period of time?
Right.
Has Donnie, what do you think? Has there been any thinking about some sort of generator or something like that?
That hadn't been yet, just because we spent all that money, to be honest with you. And we did, the diesel pump, dry prime did kick on last night, and it was prime and it was pumping. Chris was down there probably like an hour after you text me, and the dry prime did kick on when it was called for, and it was prime, so it did help. So when when the power goes out right now, that would be our backup, would be the dry prime. And of course, I think last night it was about an hour and a half, maybe the road was flooded.
Yeah.
So that would be, the time period of flooding would be extended, but the type of rain we got last night, I mean, I didn't think that it would be completely dry. So we still live in North Beach, we're still close to the bay, and we get that much rain that quick. I think we came a long ways to go from an hour and 15 minutes of flooding compared to what it used to be like a day of flooding. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. But it would probably, if we did lose power, then we would go back, it would just take longer for the road to clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the dry prime would have to do all the work. But we do have that there, so at least we do have that. I
So
think
if-
it's kind of like looking at 9th Street, 7th Street. The next things to really kind of firm up the major flooding areas before they would think about even a generator at 5th Street. I think, I'm not sure.
Donnie, when they do the design, could they put in a way that you could get a portable generator and hook up to like 9th Street?
Yeah,
whereas
9th Street, 9th Street size wise, the motors of the pumps and everything and the access, as long as the street wasn't flooded, and we have a generator here that probably will run that. So in your panel, that's a good idea. You could put pigtails just hanging out to where you could roll up there with a generator. We have the cords made up for the water station here. It's kind of similar to what we do at the water station. You just plug that in, fire the generator up, and as long as the wave action, because y'all know from living down there, some of those storms, the waves are hitting the 2nd floor. So that would be the only problem where you would put the generator and whether it would get swamped. But it'd definitely be nice if the storm stopped, you could take a generator out there and you could help pump it down a lot quicker. If you, like I say, if you lost in a hurricane, if you lost power for 4 or 5 days, you wouldn't have to sit there and be flooded. You could get a generator out close enough to plug it in and, help pump down the water out there. If you had the power out or a tornado hit and you had 2 or 3 days of electric out or something. That would definitely be.
That was my thoughts.
Yeah, that would definitely need to be included. It would be a good thing to include in there. And Dave, thinking about that, that would be another option we could add at 5th Street to where you could move the generator around, because we do have an 80 kW generator that's portable. That would, for a situation like that we need to think about.
Well, at 5th Street, you got the one that runs off diesel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Dave and Jay, are you guys fluent in the knowledge of what specifications you need for generators?
No.
Okay, thank you for your honesty, Dave.
No.
That's one thing that at Bayland we can include in their design proposal.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do that for that 9th Street for
You
sure.
can see where I'm going with this, is if we're going to chase any grants, I'd like to know what I'm talking about too.
Right.
So,
Main problem at Ninth Street is because you have to be 8 feet above sea level now with any electrical components.
right.
So that means you'd have a generator sticking up in the air, 8 foot above. Well, the road, I think, is elevation 4 there, so it'd be 4 or 5 feet above the road somewhere, sticking up in the air, and then. We just don't have the property, so portable.
No, that's great. Well, and that's a good example of then I can ask for the money to build whatever platform.
Yeah, no, that'd be good,
Just
right?
making up arbitrary needs, but you get the drill.
Yeah. But that's where
That's
Ninth
all
Street,
that, I guess all that would depend on what size pumps they put in, what size generators you would need.
but we can have that, as part of Bayland's proposal, we'll have that, in there, like, to put connections and, generator demand, like what requirements, how many KW? Alana, you had a question, I'm sorry.
I did. So with Bayland having 4 months to turn around the documentation, then if it goes out for bid, we're looking at November, December. Which, like, I don't know, is that a good time or a bad time because it's, holiday season? And
That's the
then,
perfect time, because by the time they get the equipment and submittals and all that crap, it'll probably be March, before they would do any work, you know what I mean?
okay, so,
Yeah,
okay,
Stacy would put it out, it'd be 2 weeks, then by the time it takes the council to, we'd get it back, the flood committee look at it, we can make recommendations.
okay.
Staff will make recommendations, the council would have to vote on it, whoever the low bid was. And by
Mhm.
the time you get all that done, then you'd be probably in, and then. Once you award it to the contractor, they start submitting the equipment if they don't, like I say, if we use flight pumps, just because we did Fifth Street. If
Mhm.
they submit what was proposed, then that would be great, because it'd be easy. If they submit it or equal, then we'd have to check that out and get them an answer. Then by the time we do all that stuff, it'd probably be March anyway.
Anyway, all right, thanks.
Yeah, March or April, so.
Okay, thank you.
And that one's not as critical as the beach was, like working on the beach, but it wound up. Where that wasn't a big deal either, really, so.
Okay,
But yeah, that's actually a good bidding time, because paperwork time, November, December, be cold. And you
okay,
can do the paperwork part and get it over with, hopefully.
okay, good, thank you.
Yeah,
While we're on the subject of pumps, when we had the little demo last month, I remember the mayor saying that he's had a couple people come up to him and say, "Are we pumping, sewage out of that thing?" Of course, he said, "No, we're not," and explained it. But I I thought that perhaps if we put up some signage that said, Fifth Street Pump Project, stormwater, whatever, something that just let people know what this thing is, so it's visually an answer to to what we're doing and what we're not doing, I guess. And we might, if that's something that we want to do, it might be something we want to build into what we do at Ninth Street, and something that we want to do when we, eventually get to 7th Street as well. And I sent something to Donnie and to Lauren, and I think it was all forwarded on to Dawn, who's, I think, working on some prototypes. So, maybe here in the next week or two, we might have a prototype that we could send around to have everyone kind of look at and sign off. Excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah, Dave, this is Dawn. I thought we were gonna talk about that today. We can, or we don't have to, but I
It's
sent you guys.
on the agenda, so I thought we might as well just talk about it now if it's for you.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you had mentioned, or maybe Lauren did, rewording the sign. I mean, there's only a few words on there to begin with, but maybe rewording, talk about exactly where to put it on the beach. And also a question I have is, do we need the MDE logo on that sign?
No, not really. I don't think so. I think the MDE, because I kind of read some emails back and forth, but the MDE required a sign because they put grant money into the project, and maybe that's where that
Yeah,
came from.
It can come off now, Dawn.
Yeah,
That
I was
doesn't
gonna
need to
say,
be on.
if they got money in the game, put
Yeah,
it-
that was during construction or whatever, and that guy had
Yeah.
Brown that came down to do the final sign off. He took a picture of that, but that's doing construction and showing they gave grant money for it and everything else, but I don't,
The project's closed, you can take it off. now.
yeah, so they can come off, right?
Got it? Okay. So the current wording says, it was just actually what Dave sent me. It says Fifth Street stormwater / rain pump system. So I think Lauren had a few comments about that in email and so do you guys want to discuss that as a committee or think on it or?
Is Lauren the 814 number or is she not on?
No, she's not on today. She called and said she wasn't gonna be on, but if anybody has any comments, they can shoot them to Dave or Dawn if you want to do it that way.
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah, and as far as location, just so, I mean, it's just big enough for everyone to see and in a place where it won't hinder, anyone that has to get and do any maintenance or service to the pumps or, drive anything else out there. So I'll leave that up to the, Donnie, you and your crew. So it's not, so you guys can do and Phil, so they can do what they need to do to the beach. But
A lot of people, you can see it best when you're actually on the pier.
Yeah, that's what Lauren was.
When
Yeah.
you're on the side, you can't really see it from the beach. You see it when you're walking down the pier, and that's so. I don't just to think about maybe we want to put it to the side, or that's where you see the water pumping out.
Johnny, what would you think? Like if we did one on near it on the beach and then another small one up from the pier where you can really see the water coming out? Or what's your recommendation?
We need to keep it out of the way for sure, because we're gonna have to go out there and could be tomorrow, could be a couple days, could be a couple months, but to pull those pumps out of there, we're gonna have to take the backhoe right up to the back of the concrete structure, like on the beach, and drive right up to it, so we can't put anything in the way of that. We were originally thinking about trying to put it on the concrete because we, made that a foot taller, but I don't think you'd be able to see it well enough from, that far away. So I kind of like the idea of on the side, because if you're walking in the pier and the pumps come on, they're shooting water out, you probably could see more of what's going on there. But my other thought is we need to identify it, I guess. But if you're swimming out there and people are reading that, then how many people are going to want to come to the beach? And but it's kind of you're telling them it's not sewer, but it's stormwater pumping right out there, and it's on the public swimming beach. So do you want to advertise that or don't you? But I guess you need to.
It's what we.
I guess you have to. Right.
Well, we don't want them to think it's anything else other than
Right.
nice, healthy storm, rainwater.
Right. Clean rainwater coming right off the clean streets.
Exactly.
If we called it rainwater instead of stormwater, does that sound friendlier?
I mean, normally what you put on there is like Fifth Street stormwater outfall is what they would call a place where the stormwater dumping into. So, but it can be called rainwater, stormwater. But it identifies what it is there at least.
So outfall is a typical term for that type of pump
Right.
system?
Yeah.
It works for me. I mean, my point is just, we're trying to tell them what it's
If you
not.
want to tell them it's not sewer, right, David? Like, we don't want
Yeah.
to mix, because we had a guy like stop like, oh, y'all pumping sewer. Like, you'll get that. But I was like, anybody knows you can't do that, but I guess.
There's always somebody.
Yeah, just in case.
Say
long as
rainwater.
we-
Yeah,
don't know.
rainwater, not sewer water.
Right. But a lot of people, when they're talking, are like, oh, it's going into the storm sewer. Because because DC used to have a combined sewer, and it's just kind of
It's
whatever.
There's plenty of people who are confused enough that they're going to stop after 2 words, stormwater
Right.
or whatever. You almost might want to change the message and go safe to swim, exclamation point,
Right.
and get away. I don't know. This isn't going to be
Mhm.
solved in 10 seconds, but I think Donnie's point's valid, which is somebody's going to put up a stink.
I'd
Or
keep it
confused.
simple. If I did, I'd just put Fifth Street stormwater outfall. And then it kind of identifies it.
I'm good with that. Don, if you could, at some point when you're ready, send a mock-up or a proof of whatever, to me, and I can distribute it, or, if you have the distribution list, to distribute it and let everyone take a look, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I can send it momentarily, actually.
The
Oh.
mayor, he was kind of talking about maybe putting a fence and screen it, but then I told him like, to get access to it, it's kind of gonna hinder, and then if you put any type of railing, it's gonna be maybe worse, so we were gonna hang the sign on the railing, but then you'd have to move all that stuff to get the grates out the way to get to the pump, so. But, maybe like a black railing around it, but he wanted to put like almost like a fence. So I'm like, I don't know, but I think on the pier side, more people would see it and read it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And we might be able to put it in a way if we had to do some major maintenance, that we could even move it and put it back, you know what I mean? If it, make it to where you could just unbolt it, put it back up.
Mhm.
I mean, it's gonna be one of the same signs.
Yeah, right, so it'd be easy to do,
So it's not gonna be any major
right?
deal to do, but I don't think, I'm not the one moving it though.
No, but that would be good, and then, like I said, there's a lot of people wondering when they see that pump kick on and shooting out in the bay, like, what the heck is that? So that would definitely take care of that, so that'd be great, I think it'd be good.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Another-
can people hear me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay,
All right.
good. Just checking in.
Okay, the next item is to discuss and plan a separate committee meeting to go through the compound flood action plan and identify and prioritize its implementation. And we are looking for some volunteers to help us plan and organize it.
We planning and organizing just a meeting in the town hall at the conference room kind of thing? Okay,
I-
I'll do that. That sounds really easy. I'll grab that.
Do you feel like you just did your job by planning it? Is that what you're saying?
You're not getting food. No, I'm just kidding.
Then it's not a
I'm
meeting.
just kidding. It's not. All right, I'll do
So
that.
if we could do it remotely, I can join. I can join in too. This is Gary.
Okay.
Dave, could I ask a clarifying question?
Fire away.
I-
Anytime.
The part about making sure it happens, that's understandable, but what does prioritizing it mean, considering Bayland kind of already prioritized for you?
Well,
But I thought, yeah.
I guess the priority is, matching their priorities with the town's priorities.
Okay,
Or what we know to be the priorities, which I think is 9th Street and 7th Street in that order, and then, on from there. But, Donnie, weigh in.
Yeah, Friday that, and then matching what's budget wise, which is possible. So Tom, we can get you working in, we said like 9th Street, we got that pretty much going, so then 7th Street's next, so.
Mhm.
Work on some grants for this, and then what comes after that, then we're going back in the back, because last night, I tell you, we took some videos. And I needed to, I wish I'd have been able to share that with you on the screen today. But if you could have seen the water coming, we're looking at North Beach and it's flooding. But 50% or more of that water is coming down 3rd Street, 5th Street, 8th Street, coming out of the county. It was rolling. The ditch lines were full, coming over driveways, especially at 5th Street and 3rd Street there last night. If you could have seen the amount of water that's coming from Calvert County, so even though the pumps didn't keep up, if you seen that water coming in, you'd see why almost. So that's our next, to me, is it almost as important, we got to get some at 7th to stop that water from coming in from the bay. But then our next move is we got to go back to Calvert County and go back to the Greenwood line and see what we can do to slow that down, divert it, or, look at the plan what Bayland had in there and kind of like, that would be a good thing for that committee to look at. Like the obvious things are there and they're pretty simple, and we kind of knew that going in, but Bayland confirmed it. But now look at what they're saying about green space and what we can do to slow that water down. Because that amount of water in 15 minutes, me and Gary and David talked about a long time ago. You probably got 20,000 gallons a minute coming in from that acreage, looking at those ditch lines last night.
Oh, at least, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna consider this the same topic only because Donnie kind of brought it up. It might be time to create a little bit of a Dropbox folder or something, so you can throw those videos in there and I can access them. As
Right.
opposed to me asking you tomorrow, Donnie, to sit down and show me the video, because it'll help your grants case, and I have to figure out what media form to put it into, so. But
That would
no
be
decision,
excellent
just
idea.
commenting, this might be helpful, like Jay sent a photo, that's easy enough for me to throw into the mix, but videos are a little bit higher energy event,
No, that's a great idea. That way everything's in one place.
right?
Yeah, we had
Is
to-
there
we had-
something that, sorry,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
is there something the town uses? Like the town doesn't use Dropbox, do they? Is there something, or Dawn maybe, that the town uses where we could, you know, put videos or put documents that we want to share just amongst ourselves?
Well, doesn't
There's a-
the flood committee have a SharePoint site?
We have something in board docs, I guess.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know if Stacy's on there still, but I remember I had put things in on SharePoint for the flood committee site.
SharePoint, okay, I know we had board docs, maybe
Yeah.
that's different.
I mean, I use
Yeah, that's
Dropbox
different.
and I'm sure others do, so it's not anything difficult, but I'll write it down and follow up.
Dawn, if you're in tomorrow, maybe you could just show me where it is so I can at least help administer it a little bit or something, just. But yeah, because I don't want to mix worlds with Dropbox. I'd rather stick to whatever y'all are using.
I think we had talked about one time, then we done like a SharePoint or like OneDrive, just share it, but the flood committee would have their own folder or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll let you know.
Maybe it already exists. I just forgot or something. I don't know.
I'll look into it and let you guys know.
Thank you.
No, but I think that'd be easier. And like you said, grant wise, you wouldn't have to keep searching. It'd be all in one spot. So that'd be great. But it was quite a bit of water rolling down the curb. Chris had to go out because we had problems with the sewer pump stations because they were overloaded too. And then I said, while you're out, take some videos for me. So he did. And if that would be a worthwhile thing for the committee to see, because it's hard to imagine until you see it rolling down the curb lines there. It's like a river coming into town.
Any more questions or comments on that? We have an item that we want to discuss and plan an event that acknowledges Senator Jackson's support for the upgrades that we've done and provide a forum for him to engage with residents, like a First Friday, for instance. We wanted to have a discussion about that and see about how we can go ahead and plan and organize something like that. Excuse me.
When you say like a First Friday event, not a First Friday event, right? I feel like that's already got enough distractions, and honestly, not enough people from town. I feel like it'd be more effective to have a separate event to kind of.
Do you want me to, because I think I probably need to talk to the mayor. And we were talking First Friday to get a lot of exposure for Senator Jackson, just a lot of people be there, but like you said, I don't know if people from town would actually. But kind of get some ideas from Dawn and the mayor, like, you know, you could do something at town hall or appreciation, or I think that's why Luke, we talked about that because there'll be a lot of people there, but you're right, it might not be. It would be
A right audience.
So I don't know.
Well, getting people to pay attention to someone making remarks would be difficult on a First
Right.
Friday. But the people that come are more than likely his constituents, you know?
Yeah.
He has more constituents than just the town. So the first stop here may be to have the mayor talk to Senator Jackson or somebody on his staff and say, here's what we'd like to do. I mean, you know, what would the senator like to do? And, you know, what appeals to him, and, you know, where does he have time? And, you know, and if they give us some ideas, then we can make it happen.
When is he local for something else?
Yeah.
I think that would be the definite first step, get with his
Yeah.
staff and see what's going on, and then we can plan from there.
Also,
think when the
Senator Jackson has been at our farmer's market in the past, so that may be a platform that we could possibly use. That is
Oh.
that is our town residents versus the First
Mhm.
Friday, which are not majority of our town residents.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And those are
Might be a lot
people that
better
are pretty
place.
local conscience, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that might be a lot better. Might be a better idea for sure. We'll try to, what I'll do, Dave, is we'll try to get, somebody from staff will reach out to his office and ask that question. Stacy, can we do that? You think pretty easy?
We can work on that. Yes, absolutely.
And then we can send an email back to Dave where you can circulate with the members and let you know what they say, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, his preferences, his schedule, his, his
Right.
time. Okay,
We need to do that and then corner him at a local restaurant for breakfast or lunch afterward and hit him with the 7th Street. Let's
there
do
is
it next and go eat right there by one of those restaurants and say, hey, by the way, since we're here, can we walk
do-
over and look at this?
He'll think he's been set up for that.
Right.
I'm
we are.
politicians, I assume they can sniff that out a mile away anyway. It's,
Yeah. Right. Well, you're gonna have to get him to do that to get anything out of him, so we gotta do something, right? No, actually, he's been good to us. I can't say that. He's been great so far. Yeah,
uh,
we'll do that and then we'll let you know, sooner than later, Dave.
sounds good. The last item, unless there's some other items to bring up, is the grant opportunities and needs spreadsheet that Tom put together. And we sent around prior. And I guess the discussion here that we intend is to make sure that the flood plan priorities are aligned with whatever opportunities are in the grants and needs effort. So, Tom, if you have any,
Sure.
Any-
So I didn't, no script here, but I just want to preface it as a little bit as well that the list you're seeing, while I'm well aware you're the flood, mitigation committee and all that, it's for the town of North Beach. So you're going to see things that you have jokingly nothing to do with, but that's, I interview all the department heads to make sure that they get their wish list on there. And then I go scouting around for what makes sense, right? And so that's kind of where things start off. So you're going to see a broader list. The committee just is welcome to look at it, take from it what it will. Certainly Donnie's list is probably the largest, which is the most relevant to you. Having said that, though, I do want to kind of reinforce, because we do have some bigger and good news for you all, but that I'm pursuing things on behalf of other organizations in North Beach. And I was just texting during this call to make sure I had permission. The pantry has been awarded $700,000 on a grant I wrote about, a month or two ago. So
Great.
I am trying to from DHCD. And so that is just getting rolling. I sat down with Stacy and Joanne last week, and then I met with Donnie and Dawn. So just letting you know, that's a broader project where I'd like to see resiliency-based projects be a part of what they're designing. So don't be surprised if the pantry sort of a little bit in your lives, but not too much. But that's my broader explanation of kind of where things are at, is the town just got a pretty big win along with all the others. And the mayor had just sent around a list checking like, holy moly, we got about 10 things going on for grants. About 2/3 had to do with stormwater. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention as residents, that it's a pretty big win, and that there's most likely a property that's going to be largely redeveloped on Dayton Avenue. So.
That's
can you
great.
give any specific, this is, can you give us any specifics about the grant and what it will be for, Tom?
Yep, it's going to rebuild the pantry. That's about as broad and as big a concept. It's an over $1 million project. Most of you, I'm guessing, remember, I don't live there, I'm part-time, but they've been raising funds on their own. They got a revenue bond bill for $265,000. This $700,000 hopefully will make the project achievable. Don't read between the lines by seeing me being hopeful. My job is to be nervous on everyone's behalf, right? So I just want to make sure they have enough money to get their project done. And so I'll be working with them as a grant administrator, most likely for the foreseeable future. It really is a rebuild. It's like a big house, but a pantry, right? The one they've got currently is structurally taking a lot of challenges.
It's too small. Yeah, it's not
It's
good.
too small, a lot of things. I just saw this as an opportunity to add to the resiliency of your community and hopefully chase some emergency preparedness equipment. That's why you see me perk up when Donnie starts mentioning generators. I want to chase generators and solar panels for them. But that usually means that I have to go chase more money for them. The town benefits, and this isn't really a committee conversation, but you're a small town. What's that?
You can turn it off if you want.
Oh, so that's why I was bringing you all kind of up to speed on that is making sure that I think the cat's out of the bag. I just checked with Karen Argelis, who was very helpful. So if you see her around, definitely give her a hug or what have you.
I was actually the pantry's right behind my house. So I see Barbara regularly. I actually haven't seen her since this news came out. So I plan on going over there just to congratulate her.
Yeah, great. By all means. Yeah, I would say Barbara was instrumental as well. There's a lot of it. And again, I don't want to steal all your time on this, but for a small town, it's a pretty big deal. And seeing how I can incorporate other projects that relate to your mission into their project, kind of everybody wins at the town level, right? On the list, getting back to the original spreadsheet you received, you probably saw the first tab is kind of everything that was put on the list by a department head. And the second tab was sort of every grant I could come across that overlapped in language. It's not every grant in the world, but I don't have any affiliation with homeless shelters or a lot of other types of educational programs. So the idea is about roughly every 4 months, my hope is to kind of recommend to the group, hey, here's the next one or two up that if I were you, I'd go after. And that's why I was asking again about the Bayland conversation too, which is, you guys pick what the priority is because it's your party. And I'll let you know when the availability for the grant is and what you can do in advance to be best prepared. Questions, thoughts? No? Okay.
Thanks for all the work.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Brad, Tom, is like resiliency the buzzword, the catchphrase? I mean, it's the thing that makes the agencies go, oh, yes, here's.
Good. It's good. It's a very good question. It is now lately for sure, but it has a lot of meanings. It is the same danger zone that the word sustainability went into about 5 years ago. It
Right.
could mean so many things to so many groups, right? There's health resiliency, environmental resiliency. You'll hear me talk about community resiliency as whatever the ability is for your town to kind of protect itself and adapt to changing conditions. It might be environmental, it might be economic. Those are the two I'm involved in. I'm not involved in health, welfare, those. So,
Right.
Yeah, so I apologize for not giving the clearest answer, but you got to blame society for that one, It's it's kind of thrown around everywhere now. But there is something called the Resilience Hub, and that's what I perk up with. Is it's a think tank idea that came out of a think tank out of Baltimore, and so the city of Baltimore has got 18 of these resilience hubs, and that's what I'm going to encourage for something like the pantry, where you got more outlets, more backup generators. You're off the grid a little bit. I forget if Jay or David mentioned like what happens if you lose power, right? I get my texts all the time from BGE where I live saying, "Oh, you're out of power. Oh, you're back. Oh, never mind, it's off again." So being a little bit off the grid with generators is a really big deal for your community.
Any other questions for Tom on the grant spreadsheet? If not,
Feel free to always send me an indirect message as well from the team if anybody's got questions. It's pretty intense. So
Donnie, that's all the scheduled items unless
Yeah,
anyone.
I'm good. I'm good. I just want to thank everybody that came out for the cookout and picnic the other day. Worked out great. Thank y'all for all your help there. Y'all did a good job. And then thank the town for that. Food was good. People were good. Company was good. Weather was good.
It was perfect.
Yeah, so it worked out good. So, but I didn't have anything else I could think of to add business wise. Like I said, we had a busy day running around and appreciate all your hard work, Dave, keeping all the notes and minutes and
No problem,
the emails coming out. That works out great.
no
But yeah,
problem.
look forward to 9th Street. Like I say, I'll let Dave know when we have that kind of kickoff meeting and then see what their ideas are, and then I can better inform the committee. I'm sure, we're familiar with working with them, so it's not gonna be crazy, but I want to meet them on site. And then if I find out what day it is, I can even send that to you, Dave, and if anybody wants to meet on site that day. We'll
Yeah.
probably do like an on-site meeting, then a town hall, like, half hour or so, and then, get the ball rolling on that.
All right,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I'd be interested in going.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll give Dave, because he's good. I'll send him the date and time, and then he can send it out to the committee.
Okay, I'll do it.
Hopefully it'll be the next week, because it's his vacation and whatever, and people are in and out, so. But hopefully the next, if it isn't this week, by end of next week anyway.
Anybody going anywhere cool for vacation this month?
We're driving up to Manhattan on Saturday for a long weekend. My son is home from college, and so my daughter's never been in New York City, so it should be a fun time.
Be fun.
Cool. Cool. No
Hey
one
Dave,
else?
I wanted to thank you for sending that picture. I think we were probably all wondering how the pumps were doing, and that was a good check-in this morning.
That was this guy over here. That was Jay, I think.
Oh, it was Jay?
Jason.
That was.
Oh,
that
that's
was
right. You
9th
said you
Street.
sent out the agenda and Jay sent the picture. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, that was 9th Street. We can't forget about 9th Street.
No, we can't. We got to do 9th.
Yeah, but
Okay,
there, somebody else posted pictures from Annapolis too, if we need those on Facebook. So,
Yeah, I didn't see that. I'm not on Facebook, so I didn't see them.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook very much either. I didn't see those either. Dawn probably has a copy.
That's why you all get so much done, is you're not on Facebook. Good.
I try not to be on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
If I come across any, I'll share. Actually,
We just look at Facebook and get off. I
Yeah,
bought a new motorcycle, so if anybody has a house that has empty bedroom that's like North Vermont, somewhere for the ride to, in the next couple of months available, let me know. Because I'll take a nice trip.
Nice.
cool.
Be
All right, I'm
safe.
gonna tap out. I'll catch y'all
All
later.
right.
All right,
Bye, Tom.
All right,
thanks for
bye.
coming.
Bye.